I'm Darren Karp, and with me now is the winner of Big Brother All-Stars and a fellow Jersey alum. We've got Cody in the house. How you doing, Cody?
Let's go. I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me.
How does it feel to be a champ after all these years? You didn't come in second, and you swept it against Enzo. How does it feel?
It feels that is one of the most incredible feelings to like go back and after being in the final two, like winning the game, it's like such a surreal feeling. And I'm just like so thankful, so grateful for the opportunity, so thankful for the outcome. I'm just over the moon. It's so much, it's amazing.
You know, the interesting thing about you is when we started off this Big Brother season, you know, you won the first head of household, which sometimes is an iffy move because that creates alliances. It gets targets on your back. Did you have a clear plan going into this season, knowing that you were playing against all-stars and what you needed to do to win? Or were you kind of just flying by the seat of your pants?
So if I'm being completely honest, I think that a lot of people kind of like were loose-lipped beforehand. And I think a lot of people were like slipping up about being on there, and I didn't want to be that way. And so when I came into the first HOH, there were some names in the house that I was like, ooh, they could be in there. And if they are this, and when I was competing in the first HOH, I saw some of those faces and I was like, okay, so there are people like, I don't know if people were talking before this, but like now I need to win this first HOH because like, I don't know what would happen. Because at first I was like, I don't know if I want to win it. Like I want to be downstairs in the pool of people, forming relationships. But then honestly, I won the first HOH and then I still treated that first week like I was still in the pool of people. Like I've rarely spent it in my HOH room. I didn't like sit up there like I was like the king of the house. I just was like, oh, cool, I won the HOH. I'm safe, but I'm going to hang out with everybody. Like I'm going to hang out outside, go to the downstairs rooms. And I think me playing the first HOH like that is really what set me up for the rest of the game. Because then after that first week, I was like locked in with like 80% of the house.
Right.
So it was, I think winning it was important for me to just feel like at ease because of some of the faces I saw in there. But then after the relationships built, like essentially it's what I think helped me.
Well, I want to take it back to the last eviction night, which you did not seem at ease at all on that because you were going against literally two of your best mates in the house.
Yeah.
Did you know after you won that last comp that you were sending Nicole home, or were you truly on the fence about it and had to think about it?
No, my God, I thought about it over and over and over and over and over, every different equation. If she won and took me, if I won and took her, if I won and took Enzo, like I ran through those constantly all week. And so right after I won, I told her, which I don't think they show, but right after I won, I was like, listen, I don't want you to be blindsided. I'm taking Enzo. Because at that point I already had made the decision in my head. What made that bit like emotional come through was just like knowing like I'm about to like devastate Nicole because I feel like she was going to take me. And I feel like cutting her was like kind of cutting like my little sister and like someone that I'd grown so close with and played so tightly with. So that's what caused me to be and feel like what I was feeling. But ultimately, like I knew right when I won, I was like, okay, I'm taking Enzo. Like, I think Enzo was like going nuts because I feel like he also knew that like I was his only chance to go.
Yeah.
Because I think Nicole was pretty clear that even though like conversations happened in the house, I don't think Nicole would have cut me.
Well, I don't think Nicole definitely would have cut you either. In fact, I just had her on my show and she said she wouldn't have cut you. So there you go. You're probably
I don't think she would have. And I know she wouldn't have. Like I knew that in my gut. And that's what also weighed so heavily. I was like, oh, this is going to be brutal. But
yeah, you know, the interesting thing about Big Brother is that, you know, you're all fierce competitors in your own way. You got a social game, but you also have a physical game going on. And sometimes emotions definitely get involved in it. But I find that you're all pretty respectful of each other and understanding that it's such a game. But Enzo had a huge blow up after the HOH and it hit him really hard and he was screaming at himself and he promised it wasn't you. And he was like, you should take Nicole. You know, after all that, why did you still decide to take him even though his performance was pretty poor?
Yeah. Well, I came inside and I would have said all season, Enzo's like the biggest child I've ever met. And I came up to him and I was like, yo, dude, what was up with that temper tantrum? Like you look like a kid. Like, you know that I'm still in this and I'm taking you to the end. Like, why are you being a baby? And I think a lot more weighed on him than just how bad he was doing. I feel like stuff from the past and stuff from his season and stuff that people said to him after his first season and how they didn't view him as a competitive person. And so I think he just wanted not even necessarily to beat me in that competition, but to be a better time, which would have made him feel better. And I think it's just an ego thing because he's a competitive guy. He's like a hot-headed Italian guy like all of us. And so he was just like blowing up, being hard on himself because I think what was weighing on him was, what is my family saying? Are my kids or people back home going to call me an embarrassment? And I think that's what ultimately caused it. And I was like, dude, like, I'm not gonna, like, why are you saying to take Nicole? You know I'm not taking Nicole. Like, stop being a baby. So I gave him tough love. That's what I do. I give tough love. If somebody doesn't like it, it ends up being a problem. But